Did you have any issues getting approved, or it was just like instantly done?
I've never been declined for a card. And to be straight up 100 with you, I never knew any of this when I first started. So
Wow.
I didn't know about a Chase 524. I
Mhm.
didn't know. I went in as cold as possible. To be honest with you, I was.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Calvin Russell here. Super excited to bring you guys yet another guest. All right. And so, listen, I'm super excited because we have another credit card expert, and he has relationships built with a lot of the banks that you all are looking to build relationships with. Okay. He has multiple credit cards with American Express, he has multiple credit cards with Chase Bank. All right. And listen, he's even got one credit card that's old, that was over 35 years old, and he canceled it. Like, yes, he cut it off completely. Okay. So here, I'm gonna let him tell the story about it. We don't have a lot of his time, of course, but either way, I want to make sure we go ahead and get this interview started. So, Joe, are you with us today?
How you doing, Calvin? Thank you for having me on. It's an honor and a pleasure. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, listen, honestly, Joe, once I heard your background and your credit card profile, I said, listen, we most definitely got to get him, on the channel, because every now and then we get people that say, hey, is this company better than this company? Or how do I build a relationship with this company? How do I get multiple credit cards? And listen, I got some great questions lined up for you today. So thanks again for taking out your time for today.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, listen, let's before we get right into the questions, I want a little bit of background because I know who you are, but my audience doesn't. Okay, but they like to get straight to the point, but they need to know that you are the guy and that you know exactly what you're talking about. So, how did you find yourself getting, and correct me if I'm wrong, but how did you find yourself getting over 25 credit cards with major companies such as American Express and Chase Bank? How'd you find yourself doing that?
So I found myself doing it. I got into this. I was a high school counselor in East Harlem for 35 years.
Okay.
And I retired. And then I got sick about a year and a half ago. And I was watching all these guys on YouTube.
Mm,
None of them, to be honest with you, that I could relate to. They weren't,
yeah.
I'm Puerto Rican from the
Okay.
Bronx, right?
Okay.
I didn't see anybody of color doing it really a lot. And I was just
Yeah.
like, all right. And I said, I'm going to try it.
Yeah.
So what happened was about a year before that, my dad to me was the most intelligent guy that knew about. He didn't go to college, but he
Mm.
had four houses. He was a bus driver. He knew how to handle money. He
Mm.
knew how to do his stuff. But
Wow.
one thing he could never figure out why he couldn't get an 800 credit score.
Real quick, if you haven't done so already, be sure to download our free ebook. You can actually scan this QR code or you can click the link in the description below. Now back to the video. Mm.
Right? I swear to God, on his deathbed,
Yeah.
literally,
Wow.
he's telling me, Joey, why is it I got a 790? Why can't had I known now what
Yeah.
I knew, back then, what
Yeah.
I know now, it was that he had two cards, and one was a Lowe's card, and he had just bought a refrigerator. They gave
Mm.
him a $5,000 credit line. He put 2,500 on it. He was at 50% credit utilization.
Mm.
Had he brought it down by sending an extra payment
Yeah.
to bring it under 30%, his
Yeah.
score would have gone up to 10 points or so that you needed to get to 800.
Yeah.
And now I laugh. I look up at heaven and I'm like, Dad, I'm sorry I didn't know this back then.
Yeah.
But the reality is I got into this because a lot of people, my students, they didn't learn about credit, finance, how to
Yeah.
handle money, how to balance a checkbook.
Mm.
So I got into this space to give them that information. A lot of my followers, a lot of my people, my on social media especially, were former students going back from 1988. So
Wow.
now they're in their 40s.
Wow. Yeah. Listen, because I was born in 88. So yeah.
Right. There you go. So, and I'm the oldest guy doing this right now in this space. I'm 57. I'm
Wow.
proud to be 57. I
Yeah.
think I told you earlier, my credit card, my oldest is older than you.
Yeah, it is.
You know, so, I did it because I wanted to teach. Since I was into education, I wanted to show people
Yeah.
what it was to be able to get to that next level, how it
Yeah.
was to be able to save, to raise your credit, how when to apply, when not to apply, when
Yeah.
to go get a loan, when to consolidate, whatever it is, how to go about it. So I really, the last year and a half, studied, read, watched, listened.
Mm.
I go to banks. I personally do the walk to the banks
Yeah.
to find out in the community how they help the people in the community.
Yeah.
So that's how I started getting the credit cards. And to be honest with you, I'm gonna be straight up. I got so many cards. Did I need 25 cards? No, right? But
Right.
I don't like to talk about something I don't have or
That's right.
know.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna be honest with you. You got a lot of people that don't mind getting somebody else's information and spitting it out like it was theirs. And
Mm.
I'm like, wait a minute, how does that even make sense?
That's
How is
right.
it that, you know, you just graduated from high school? How do you know what it is to have, all this and that, unless you were born with it? But
Yeah.
the odds are, especially in our communities, that's not the case.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
I started getting, I, I kid you not, in 4 weeks, I opened up the Amex Platinum, the World of Hire credit card,
Wow.
the Hilton Honors, and the American Express Gold in four
Wow.
weeks
In 4 weeks.
from the
Wow.
end of December 2022
Yeah.
to January 2023. I
Wow.
had four cards.
Wow.
Prior to
Okay.
that, I only had two. I had the United card and the JetBlue that I used for my son to travel back and forth from college from the
Yeah.
University of Pittsburgh.
You know what? I want to talk about that a little bit more because a lot of people, some people are looking to, go into credit card stacking and things of that sort. But you also have it where too, because in their mind, everyone has a different meaning for how many they're stacking and things of that sort, or they have a different reason on why they're even doing it. Which I like it the way you did it because it was a more natural way of doing it. You weren't you. I'm sure you didn't have the end goal wasn't to end up with 25 cards, just end up being that way. But saying that to say, let's talk about that. So now the application process and things of that sort, do you think you were able to get approved simply because the inquiry count was low, things of that sort? Did you have any issues getting approved, or it was just like instantly done?
I've never been declined for a card.
Wow.
And to be straight up 100 with you, I never knew any of this when I first started. So
Wow.
I didn't know about a Chase 524. I didn't know. I went
Mm.
in as cold as possible. To be honest with you, I was watching these videos.
Yep.
It was Christmas week. I had COVID, the whole so we couldn't do Christmas
Anything.
Eve like we always do with the family.
Yeah.
I was stuck at home watching
Yeah.
these guys, and I like what they had to say, but I knew that it didn't resonate with my background. It didn't resonate with, they were either in California, they
Yeah.
were different background. And I was like, look, I live in Jersey, but I'm from the Bronx. I worked in East Harlem. I
Yeah.
wanted something that I could relate to the people.
Yeah.
Right. So I got those cards blindly applying, like reckless. I don't suggest anybody does it, but I
Right.
knew I had a good credit score. My credit score was already 810,
Okay.
and I hadn't applied for a card in about 9 years.
Okay.
Really, I was just using JetBlue and United more for my
Yeah.
kid to travel from school.
Yeah.
But then I realized when I started getting deeper into it, I said, wait a minute. I see a lot of young people and traveling and doing all this stuff, but they're working, in a part-time job. How are they doing
Right.
this?
Right.
That's when I started learning about the points, the miles, the cashback, the stacking, the
Yeah.
trifectas, quadfectas. And then I
Right.
said,
Yeah.
okay, but I don't really do that. To be honest with you, that's not I don't have that stacking plan or
Yeah.
mentality. I
Yeah.
literally open up the cards for the channel to tell people this works, this is great.
Yeah.
Don't do this one. Be careful with that one.
Yeah.
And that's why I do it, because for me, I still have a really close affinity with my students and people that are younger than me, because I was just
Yeah.
always used to that. And then I
Yeah.
can also play the guys that the family people, that the people that have kids and wives or husbands and are engaged and want their first
Yeah.
house and get a car. So I could relate and cross over, and it works. I do it in English and Spanish. So I do the videos in Spanish as well, and respond in
I
Spanish for
saw
those that
that.
need it.
I saw that, and I like that touch, especially with now, of course, the Biden administration, helping a lot of people go from now legal immigrants. Now they're going to be able to get socials and things of that sort. I think that that's going to be huge, and that's perfect timing because people they're going to want to go into the same process everyone else does. Whether it's qualifying for a car, qualifying for a home, getting credit cards, things of that sort. And I think that that's right on time for that type of content, as well. And let's go. Okay, so let's go ahead and go into one of the questions I had outside of that, and I actually learned more about you just in those few moments as well. Okay, now recently you did a video, and I think it's helpful for a lot of people that's watching this right now. Which, by the way, guys, go ahead and like, share, and subscribe if you guys haven't done so already. And again, guys, don't forget, Joe has his own YouTube channel as well. So I'm put it back up here on the screen. You guys see it right here below. So if you want to learn more about personal credit cards, business credit cards, and from someone who's not just getting them to get them, someone who's actually using them, actually building relationships with these banks, you guys can go and check out his YouTube channel below. But one of the questions I did have was, you mentioned how you're doing certain things to not only increase your credit limit, but you're lowering your credit card, your credit utilization overall in general, and you're doing all of this without an inquiry. How are you able to do that?
So once you get the first card, so the first thing I did was last year, I opened up an LLC. I
Mm,
never knew anything about business. My wife had a business, and she literally walked me through applying by myself through New Jersey to
hmm.
get the business formation, to do all that, because I wanted
Yeah,
to do it legit. I wanted to show people that you could be late in your 50s and start a whole new thing, right? So I
yeah,
did. And so once I got the EIN, then I did the steps. I
mm,
went to a bank to open up a business checking account.
yeah,
Then I went and applied for the first business card, which was the American Express Blue Business Plus card that I
yeah,
got. Now, Amex is a little easier, actually, a lot easier than a lot of other cards. Once you have a relationship with
mm,
Amex,
yeah,
you're good.
yeah,
I've had one for 30 something years. So I never got dinged on that
right,
side at all. Like
yeah,
it never shows.
yeah,
Chase, however, I didn't have a personal credit card. Like I only had their co-branded airline cards.
hmm,
So when I applied for Chase, they did pull a hard pull once
hmm,
on my personal side because they had to. And that's one of the things I studied and found out that when you're new, if your business is less than 1 year,
mm.
they're going to pull because they want to make sure that you can back up what you're saying on that paper you put.
That's right. Absolutely,
And
absolutely.
that's what I tell people, be honest. Don't put down you're making $1 million when you're making 10,
Mm,
and be honest about the spend that you expect in a month and so on.
yeah,
The more honest you are up front, the better it works out for you in the long run. I don't like when people,
yeah,
just doctor things up to have it work for them at that
yeah.
moment.
I like,
So
I'm so glad you said that too, because that really helps a lot of people. Because so many times people, I'm sure they inflate their numbers, they inflate their income. But like you said, because you're honest, and they can even see, like, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that a person that does make a million wouldn't spend their money a certain type of way. But when they see that, okay, looking at his report, looking at what he put on his application, this does make sense. And that's more than likely why you've never been denied, because you are making sure that you're telling them exactly what it is.
and
Yeah.
and to be honest, that's what I found was the strength in how I approached the things.
Mm,
I also realized that I did a mix. So I would apply for a personal and a business, a
mm,
personal and a business. I'm bouncing back and forth because then once you get established, your business cards do not report at all to your personal side.
that's right.
So
Mm,
I was opening cards with Chase. I have the Chase Unlimited, the Chase In Cash. I actually got two of them.
yeah.
And the reason I got two of them, I wanted to show the people, and I haven't even done a video about it, but because I'm trying to use it.
Yeah.
So I
Mm,
have one credit card, the Chasing Cash, under the credit card connection. Then I want to start doing merch for my channel eventually and stuff. And my tagline and my what the people here know me as is Hola mi gente. So that I'm
mm,
Mr. Hola mi gente when I start my videos. And so I opened up a card that says Hola mi gente, but I did
wow.
that as a sole prop.
Yeah.
I don't have an LLC for that.
Okay.
And I didn't get dinged on my personal side for them either,
Wow.
which was so it's the relationship I have with Chase. I
Mm,
went from having more Amex cards than Chase cards, and now I have more Chase cards than Amex because I
wow.
have
Yeah.
a lot of business cards with them to balance it out.
Yeah.
And for
Yeah.
those that are probably wondering, what's my credit score with all these cards? My FICO score as of today is 835.
Got it. Okay. Now, okay, let's talk about that. Through this journey, when you were applying for the cards, were you do you think it was in the 800s at the time or mainly in the sevens when you were
I
yeah,
was about 805, if I'm not mistaken, the first
okay.
time I started applying for the cards.
Wow, got you. So, okay. And do you think did you have any cards prior to that or was it just older like auto loans and stuff like that over the years?
So I had that American Express relationship since 1989.
Yeah. Okay.
And you know, what's funny, so back in the day, my father and I have the same name. And
Okay.
it was weird because some of his credit would come up on my stuff. So I was like 11 years old, and I would have been 11 when it said I had a car loan in my name,
Yeah.
which was wrong, right? But
Right.
I had this credit established, and then what I did was, when my son was in college, I added him as an authorized user
Yep.
to my cards so
Nice.
that he could start building his credit. So when he graduated, he came out with a 740
That's right.
right out the box from the University of Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
So, for me, I really didn't pay it the mind in terms of what dings I was going to get and so on, because I knew at that point that I hadn't really applied for many cards.
Mm.
It was last year when I started really accelerating it, that then I said, okay, now I got to worry. I got to be careful how I apply and so on. But, the only issuer, and a lot of people out there, I'm sure, have this particular issuer that I don't have a card from, is Capital One. And
Mm.
it's because they won't give me a card that's not a secured card.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
because I actually went to the Capital One Bank here
I
I
saw
went to
that in
two
one of your
banks,
videos. Yeah, I spoke to the bank rep.
and I spoke, and they themselves, the young lady working there was with them 3 years, and
Mm.
she was bucketed at a $500 credit line for a saver card.
Wow.
And then
Yeah.
there was no one I could talk to in the bank. So I was like,
Mm.
how does this work? How are you a bank and you can't answer my questions?
Yep.
I actually knew more about their product than they did, and they had to
Yep.
take out their tablet and look, because they were like, "What?" I said, "Look, I just did my homework before I came in to ask you these questions."
That's right. Yeah.
So, you know, so I haven't been denied, and I won't apply for a Capital One card because you could do the pre-approval tool.
That's
So
right.
they'll give me like the saver card for good credit. But when
Yeah.
you do that,
Wow.
it's 30.74%.
Mm.
That's gangster like money. That's like you
Right.
owe the guy on the corner that plays the numbers money.
That's right.
I'm not doing that. So I'm
Yeah.
not, why take a shot and fail? I'm not doing it.
That's right. And not only that, but with your background, I mean, look at your profile. So I mean, that's a slap in the face, to be honest. It
Yeah,
really is.
it really is. It's a
Yeah.
disrespect. It's a total disrespect.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now, there was another question that I had for you as well too. It's from one of your videos, and how you got approved for two credit cards in less than 5 minutes. Tell us how you were able to do that and what companies those were with.
So now it's almost a month. I put a poll on my community tab, and then I did a video on which card the viewers feel I should apply for next. And I wanted a card from an issuer that I did not have a card. Now,
Mm,
I've had a relationship with Citibank
yeah.
since I was 18 because I
Okay.
got my student loan through them. And
Mm,
when I started working in the Board of Ed in New York at
mhm.
21, that's where I had my check deposited.
Got you.
So I've had them
Wow.
forever, but I never had a credit card from them.
Yeah. Wow.
Ironically, never had a card.
Right.
None
Wow.
of their cards did it for me for some reason.
Yeah.
So
Especially
then,
compared to what you have now, like
yeah.
Chase and Amex. Yeah.
So I was like, okay. And then Wells, when I went to the bank in February, and then in March, they told me they were going to come out with new products.
Yeah.
That excited me. So
Okay.
I told the people, choose between the Strata Premier, the Wells Fargo Autograph, or the Wells Fargo Autograph Journey.
Okay.
Two of those cards are $95. The other one is zero annual fee.
Yeah. Okay.
So I kid you not, it was a Thursday night, midnight, so technically Friday morning.
Mhm.
I was bored, Calvin. I'm sitting in my living room on my phone, and I said, I'm gonna shoot my shot. I swear that was in my head. I'm like, I'm gonna shoot my shot, and I have to be strategic. So
Yeah, absolutely.
Citibank is tougher
Yeah.
than Wells to get
Mm.
approved for.
Yeah.
So I said, and you know, I have my computer going as I'm applying. I have my phone in my hand.
Yeah.
I tried to screen record it. It was a total fail. I was such a loser. It didn't come out right. So,
Yeah.
but it said approved 11,000.
Mm.
I said, bet. I said,
Yeah.
if I got the Citibank, the next card is going to be the Wells Autograph, the zero annual fee, because I figured
Yeah.
the Journey might not give me as much of it because I just had a pull,
That's
right?
right.
Because automatically Norton LifeLock goes off. You
Mm.
know, you get these alerts that TransUnion alert,
Yep.
Experian alert,
Yep.
Equifax alert, right? So it was
Yep.
like ding, ding, ding. I was like, okay. I said, the heck with this. Literally 5 minutes later, I'm on Wells.
Wow.
And I was like, in my head, I'm thinking, you know, Steph Curry. And I'm just
Right.
like,
Right. I can't miss out here. I
I
can't
can't
miss.
miss. And they came in with $20,000 as a credit line
There you
5 minutes
go.
later.
Which one gave you the 20K? Was that the Wells or was that City?
Wells, Wells.
Wells got it.
City gave
Got it.
me 11, and I knew City would give me on that amount
Yeah.
based on the data points that people have been telling me.
Mm.
And Wells surprised me. I figured I'd be in the 10 to 15,000 range.
Yeah.
And when they came in at 20, I was like, wait a minute, this is amazing.
Yeah.
You
They
know,
blew your
so
mind with that one. Yeah.
yeah. So, and what I liked about it, I'm going to be real honest with you. Did I need those two cards? No. There's no reason for me to have them. And I
Yeah.
really don't like cashback cards. But
Mm. Yeah.
now, Wells, you could transfer the cashback to points
Yeah.
for transfer partners, and Citibank is points. So, what I thought was, I said, you know what? Now I can also bring to my viewers more of a variety, because I'm going to be honest with you. And you know this because you
Yeah.
guys are just an amazing channel. There's certain
Thank you.
topics that click live and subscribe, right? That people flock to. The moment they see the thumbnail, they're like, bet, I'm in.
Yeah.
That's your Amex Platinum,
Yeah.
your Chase Sapphire Reserve,
Yeah.
but you know what? That gets played out. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Everybody knows Amex gives you 5 points for flights, and it's a coupon book, like they say, and blah, 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 right?
Yeah.
I could spin the wheel and hit one, and everyone's gonna say the same thing.
Yeah.
I wanted to bring something different. So I wanted to show people that, okay, it's not just an Amex world. It's not just, a
Yeah.
Chase
The
world.
same cards over and over. Yeah.
It gets boring. And I'm being honest with you, I
Yeah.
was bored. I was telling Sledge about this and Chad.
Yeah.
I was like, guys, I'm at a block because I'm bored of the same repetition with
Mhm.
this BS. And
Yeah.
it's not fair to the people that I'm trying to bring this news to,
That's
because
right.
not everybody's going to apply that way.
That's right. Absolutely. Absolutely.
So
You hit it right on the head.
people are going to say, he's full of it. He's lying. No, I really got the cards based on the polls. And I said it in my videos. I said, this was the highest two that I got.
Yeah.
Online, people wanted me to get the Wells. And then on my videos, it was a City card. So I
Mm.
said, let me do both. And
Okay.
I did both.
There you go. There you go. And also too, I wanted to go into because you also had a card in which a lot of people, have been first off, for you to have the relationship with them, and then not only that, but you've had multiple credit cards, over the years and things of that sort with this particular brand. But you had a credit card for 35 years. And you literally not only closed that account, but cut that account. Not only that, but you cut the card up essentially. Now, what company was that, and what made you make that decision after being with them for 35 years?
So here's what happened. So it was the American Express Gold Card.
Yeah.
So I got them literally 6 months after I started working. So I started
Mhm,
working in 88. I got the
mhm,
card in 89.
mm,
And back then, none of this online stuff existed. If you wanted to buy something from Amex, like a TV, like I did, it was through a catalog that you had to
mm.
call and place the order and have it delivered. And it was
Yeah,
just bizarre back then.
yeah,
And I think that card cost me back then $50 or $75. That was the
mm,
fee.
yeah,
So when it came time in February to renew the card after having it, I said, wait a minute. It's good for food in terms of going out to eat. You get
yeah,
4 points. And if you go supermarket shopping, you get four.
mm,
But it doesn't include warehouse clubs. I go to Costco. It doesn't
mm,
include Target. I go to Target.
yeah,
So I said, I'm only using half
yeah,
of the benefits. Why
mhm,
pay $250 a year to have the privilege of having a card, right?
right,
So I'm like, okay, I got them for 35 years. I'm gonna call Amex. I didn't even chat because the
mm,
people do the chat. I called them
wow,
and they're like, thank you for being with us 35 years. I said, okay, I'm gonna cancel. They're like, why? I said, well, I don't really use the card that much
mhm,
for what it's intended. So they go, well, right now we can't offer you a
anything,
retention offer. I was like, why? I said, if I go on YouTube, everybody and their grandmother has a retention offer. How am I not?
right, and
You
why
know,
not me? I have plenty of cards with you guys.
and they didn't want to hear it. And then I
Wow,
asked them, I said, how about a downgrade to the green, but with points? Because the
mm,
green came out with better benefits.
that's right,
They didn't want to give it to me. So I said,
Wow.
okay. I said, bet, cancel the card. They were like, you want to cancel it after 30? Yeah. So on my live, it was February 13th. So the day before Valentine's Day, I took my card and my wife's rose gold. I
Yeah.
bought a pair of metal shears from Lowe's
Wow.
and I cut them. It was hard to cut, but I cut them live and I have them kept in a folder
Yeah.
because I tell people, look, to me, there's no flex. And
Yeah.
I need people to understand that.
Mm,
There is absolutely no flex in a card.
mm.
You could have the platinum, which I do, and you know what? Just the younger kids might think it's great. Oh my God, it's a platinum card. They think it's
Yeah.
the best thing. Little do they know, it's probably one of the worst cards to have in your wallet because you get only really good redemptions on flights by getting 5 times. Everything else is 1 point.
Yeah.
It's not
Mm.
getting you the points or the rewards that you think you're going to get.
Yeah. Yeah.
So a better card is the green card. So that's what I
Mm.
try to tell people. You don't have to flex. There's nothing. There's no such thing when it comes to that.
Mm.
Unless you have the American Express Black Card,
Right. Yeah.
or the Chase. What is it? Their Ultimate Reserve Card or whatever
Correct.
it's
Yeah.
called.
Yeah.
J.P. Morgan card.
Yeah.
Then you're like, okay, you're a baller because you got the
Right.
card, right?
But outside of that, right. Yeah.
Really, come on, man.
Yeah.
The guy at Dunkin' Donuts has a platinum card. It is what it is. And I'm not breaking. I'm not dissing
No,
on that.
I
It's
get it.
just the
Well, you're
truth.
saying it doesn't take much to get that card.
Nope,
Yeah.
not at all.
Yeah.
So, you know, I um I just want people to realize that you use it as a tool, and that's what I've been learning the past year and a half.
Yeah.
I don't use it to just go recklessly and apply for something. I
Correct.
don't
Yeah.
just use it to stack and show that I'm in the Maldives like a lot of people do. That
Mm.
drives me insane. Everybody thinks they're going to the Maldives. Bro, I'm from the Bronx. Where is the Maldives? I'm not even sure where the Maldives is. All right.
Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely.
and then I did one thing where people thought I was lying, but
Mm.
then they saw the proof. I probably did the craziest redemption and I showed the people how I did it. I
Okay.
took 275,000 chase points
Wow.
and I bought my Tesla with that.
Really? Wow.
So I was supposed to, I had already a 2021 Tesla. The new ones came out, the 24s,
Yeah.
and I was on a waiting list and it was supposed to
Mm.
come at the end of May.
Yeah.
I get a call in February and they're like, we can get you one in March. I said,
Mm.
wait a minute, but you need $5,000 to put down. I'm like, where am I going to find 5,000? Come on, like that. It's impossible. I don't work
Without
like
having to
that.
right, yeah, move some
Yeah,
stuff around.
So I was telling this to my nephew. My nephew goes, hey, Uncle Joey, can't you buy that with points? And he started laughing. And I said, wait a minute.
I sure
So I
can.
went to Chase
Yeah.
and they give you 1 cent per point. So I
Wow.
cashed in 275,000 points for
Yeah.
$2,750 that they
Yeah.
deposited into my account.
Wow.
I got the other $2,300 to make it 5,000, and I made
Yeah.
that my deposit and got my car.
Wow.
I didn't have
Huge.
to go to a bank. I didn't have to borrow it. I didn't
Nope.
have to ask my wife. I didn't have to done. And I
Yeah.
tell people, they're like, "Oh, you could have gotten 4 cents per point and this redemption." And I said, "Listen, guys, you could have 100 million points.
That's right.
If it's sitting in your bank in that little account, it's
Yeah.
worthless.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Why not
Absolutely.
use it? I didn't sweat. And you know what's funny? I got those points from referrals. I didn't even have to buy or use them. People use my link,
Mm.
and I was able to get those points.
Wow. That's
You know,
huge. Listen, audience, I hope you guys are hearing this and taking notes on this. Is that again, is not just about having the card, getting approved, but those points, you never know what you can cash that in and need it for. Obviously, of course, you got the trips and things of that sort, but you can use it for whatever you want to because it's your points, it's your money if you have the right type of card set up in the right terms and such. So that's an amazing story because I think a lot of times people, they hear the traditional things, which is nothing wrong with, hey, I use my card. I get the points. I travel, things of that sort. But to have that actually, cover anything close to what's needed, for the deposit for a car, that's huge. That is huge.
yeah, and it
For
was
sure.
different. You know what? It was something like I tell people. It's not just. It wasn't a flex. It's a
Mm.
card that I use, right? That
Yeah,
I've had.
exactly.
And why not? If I'm doing this, why not utilize everything I have available to me
Yeah.
without having to hit my bank account and lose interest? Right?
Mm.
I didn't have to touch any of that. This
Yeah.
was just sitting on Chase's portal and
Yeah.
I could have done the whole thing out of it, but I said, you know what,
Yeah.
let me be smart. I have the other cash. I'll just use more than half of it to do it.
Yeah.
So
And you know, another thing I like too about you, Joe, is that you're keeping up with this information and you don't have to. And not in a bad way, but I mean by like, I'm be honest, especially in like in your average age bracket, a lot of times people they're like, oh, I'm about to do this, I'm about to do this. And but this is actually a great time to do it because now you're saying, hey, I got time to learn more about these cards and to put myself in position because it's not like you're not spending money anyway. It's not like you're not
right.
traveling anyway. Do you ever like think about that? Because especially I'm thinking sometimes I know how it works in the mortgage industry because my wife and I own a real estate brokerage. And sometimes because of those certain ages, they won't give you a mortgage loan. So and in your case, you're saying, hey, listen, I haven't had any issues applying for these credit cards even at my age. Can you talk about that?
Absolutely. And
Yeah.
actually, I'm glad you brought that up. In my travels to the bank, where I live in Hackensack,
Hmm.
it's a great mixed community. So
Yeah.
I have, you know, Latinos,
Yeah.
blacks, whites, you name it, all
Everybody.
cultures, every religion, everything.
Yeah.
So
Nice.
what I do when I go to all the banks, I don't go straight up to them in front and say
Yeah.
something. I
Yeah.
hang out like if I'm just a regular customer and I
Yeah.
wait and I look at everybody coming through,
Wow.
right? And I try to hear some of the conversations
Mm.
and then I'll approach them and ask for the manager and I'll tell them why. They're really blown away when I tell them, look, I have this channel. I saw how you interacted with that older Latina woman
Yeah.
that wanted to open up a checking account and she was confused. And you took the time to break it down and got her a no annual fee checking, no monthly fee checking account and
Wow.
this and that. Or the guy that wanted to start a food truck and you took him to the business person and
Yeah.
sat with them to go over the benefits and how a business checking would help
Hmm.
and this and that, right? And what
Old
card
school
was better.
banking.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
when I approach them that way, then I'm like, and you mentioned this earlier. One of my best friends just became a resident. He's been here
Mm.
20 years.
Wow.
For 10 years, he lost money. He hired a lawyer that took his money and broke out. He thought he
Oh,
was so he just got it, him and his wife.
wow.
So he was like, Joe, I need a credit card.
Yeah.
Right. So I said, I can add you as an authorized user to start. He goes, I appreciate that, but I
Mm.
want to see if I could do this on my own. That's a
Wow.
dream. Now
Yeah.
imagine a 50 something year old telling you that their dream is to have a card because they've been living cash
Cash
wise,
or the whole right. Yeah.
you know? And
Yeah.
and and so I said, okay. So when I went to Chase, I said, listen, how do you deal with people that are just new to the country and
Yeah.
became residents? He goes,
Yeah.
well, we have the Chase Freedom Rise card. That's
Mm.
good for people that are new here. And
Wow.
I had done my homework prior, and
Yeah.
there's a company called Nova.
Yep.
Nova brings you the credit from whatever country you were at, that credit
Wow.
history, and
Yeah.
brings it to the States. So you're not starting new, you
Right.
have a
Fresh.
history.
Mm.
So that's how I got my friend into getting his first credit card. And I
Wow.
said, look, you might get a low limit, work on it 6 months. They might
Yep.
increase it on their own.
Build that
Sure enough, they
relationship
gave him
too.
another $1,000. I was like, you see,
See?
you
Yeah.
know, so that's when I saw Chase do a great job with that. I saw Wells do a great job. Citibank here in Paramus, when I went, I saw them take care of the people that were there was an older Russian woman, and they went into the back and got someone that spoke a little bit of Russian to explain. Like that,
Mhm.
when you get that interaction, that's what I look for. Bank of America, the same thing. The only
Yeah.
one that failed in my eyes was Capital One.
Mm.
And I went to two different banks for them. And it's because their model isn't so much, they're more online now. It almost looks like they're going to become a SoFi or an Ally Bank that's going to
Yeah.
go online because they said if you want any of these services, you got to go online or call.
Right.
And I said,
Wow.
what's the point then of you having a physical bank if you
That's what
can't answer my
yeah.
question?
They don't wanna do the work. You know what's crazy is that's what keeps them in business is, obviously credit cards, mortgage loans, loans in general, like just interest. And when you don't have those branches, people need certain questions answered. They don't wanna chat all the time. They wanna talk to someone. And sometimes they don't even wanna be on the phone. It's nothing like face to face, especially if we're talking about, a certain amount of money or a financial goal that someone's looking to accomplish. But it's like you said, how do you expect someone to do something if you guys don't know the information or don't want to help someone? But it's still good to see that people are still doing, I would say, that traditional old school banking for sure, holding someone's hand, through the process.
You know who has it on Smash?
Who's that?
And I loved it.
Yeah.
Bank of America. The way
Wow.
they have it set up where I live,
Yeah.
you have your traditional window where you do your deposits, your
Yeah.
withdrawals, pay a bill.
Yeah.
Then they have relationship banking on the
That's right.
side if you want to invest. Merrill Lynch has their office in house as well.
Yep.
They have people that speak several languages. They're all fit like right there in those
Yeah.
four walls. You can get the help that you need on any level,
Wow.
right?
That's huge.
And I thought that that was impressive, especially in a mixed community where the people want to get ahead. But what happens is, especially with our people, is that
Yeah.
they don't always get that hand extended to them.
No. Yeah. Sometimes people may assume it's a language barrier or they may not know it all or they'll assume that they don't have credit, the background. And it's like, yeah, because I mean, people have their stereotypes,
Yeah.
and I think everyone does, so in some way, shape, form, or fashion. But like you said, it's that's the sometimes the unfortunate part. Yeah.
It's the sad part, and I always, whenever I see that, I think of what my dad always told me, which was, "You're not better than anybody else, but no one else is better than you, and you
That's
have to
right.
treat everybody that way."
That's
And
right.
that's how come. So when I do these and speak to people on the phone and try to find out information, I had somebody the other day ask me online, literally on a comment on a video for
Yeah.
City, "Can I get both credit cards, Strata and the Strata Elite when it comes out, and can I get the points, the subs with it?"
Yeah.
I could have just said, "Yeah, you can," recklessly. I called City, and the woman's name was Mara. And
Wow.
I said, "Look, I'm not calling for myself. I'm calling for one of my viewers." She goes, "What's your channel?" So I have my thing pulled up. She subscribed. She goes, "Look, your
Wow.
account just went up." Ding. And I said, "Yes, it did." So she was like, "Thank you for bringing our information to your people." And then
That's
she said,
right.
"I'm going to send you a PDF with more information if you need it in English and Spanish." Boom.
Wow. Yeah. That's how you build a relationship, man. That's how it should be.
You know, it took me 4 minutes. You
Yeah.
know, why can't I do that for somebody that genuinely had a question,
Yeah.
and I wanna be able to help them? And that's why I do this, because I feel like I am helping,
Yeah.
and that's why I'm down in my basement, like people call it my bunker, right? But I'm down here, and I'm able to come here whenever something hits me. I'm like, "All right, it's midnight. I could come down and do this,
Yeah.
and be in my own little world and help whoever's on the other side of it do it."
Yeah, absolutely.
You know?
Absolutely. Well, no, Joe, listen, we greatly appreciate not only the videos that you've created and just all of the advice that you've given people, because this isn't something that you've learned last month. You've been doing this for years, over 30 plus years, and building relationships with banks. And then just really just letting people know that it's still people out here that genuinely want to help people and see them succeed, and you lose nothing. You lose nothing. So, and which, by the way, guys, I went ahead and put it up here. I'll put it up here again. Again, if you guys want to learn more about the credit cards that Joe talks about on his YouTube channel, make sure you guys go ahead and search the channel
Thank you.
below. You can do that as well. I'm sure Joe wouldn't mind that, in
Oh,
any
God, no.
at all.
I appreciate you. I wanted your viewers to also know,
Yeah.
in 2013, I was $65,000 or more in debt
Wow.
across two cards.
Mm,
I had to consolidate.
yeah.
I hit rock bottom. My score was in the 590,
Yeah.
600.
Yeah.
And it was because I had a lot going on in the family,
Yeah.
illnesses, injuries, and I had to refinance the house. Like, there's been times when you just like
Yeah.
choke. So
Yeah.
I don't want
Yeah.
people to think, "Oh, this guy." No, I've
Right.
been
Yeah.
there. I've seen my father there when he
Mm,
couldn't work because he had a heart attack, and
yeah.
we couldn't really pay those bills at that point.
Yeah.
You had to kind of move money around.
Yeah.
So I know what that's like. And
Yeah.
what I'm trying to show people is, don't make the mistake I made.
Mm.
Because I'll be honest with you, a lot of the stuff back then that I bought, God knows what I bought. I don't even remember half, three-quarters of the things that I spent the money on, honestly.
Right.
But I had a piece of plastic that would be just ding. All right, great. I got a brand new Bose sound system. Big
Mm.
deal. Big deal.
Wow.
And as you get older, your goals change, your
That's
point
right.
of view changes.
Yeah.
And we're just getting older. Everybody. I don't care if you're 18 today, but you'll be 19 next year. You're getting
That's right.
older, and
That's right.
your needs are going to change. And I want
Yeah.
people to understand, you need to also adjust. You need to
Absolutely.
be able to pivot. You need to be able to reinvent yourself.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely.
So
And you know what? No, you hit it right on the head, Joe, is that we have to, reinvent ourselves. We have to be willing to adjust. We have to be willing to make the changes necessary, as well. And it's not just with finances, that goes into our everyday lives. Well, listen, Joe, we greatly appreciate you being here
Thank
on
you.
the channel today. Make sure you guys go ahead and subscribe to his channel as well too. Make sure you guys like this video, share this video, and of course, let people know that this video exists. And there's still good people out here that are trying to help people win. So thanks again, Joe. We greatly
Thank you.
appreciate you for your time.
Thank you, Cal. And I just want to really wish you guys all the best.
Yeah,
Uh, my friends, Chad, Sledge, that crew in the Discord,
yeah,
Lonnie, they're amazing people.
that's right.
And I learn from them all the time. And that's the
Yeah,
thing, it's a constant learning. But I also want to wish you, because you guys should be well over 100,000 subs at this point, bro.
yeah.
And all I'm saying is, what you guys do, you do it better than anybody else out there
Thank you.
for the people. And that's what
Absolutely,
I
man.
really do appreciate that, because
Absolutely.
that has to be recognized. You guys deserve that. It's a lot of work.
Yeah,
And you guys are just the utmost professionals. And I just wish you nothing but the best in the future with everything. God bless you, my friend.
absolutely. Thanks again, Joe. We greatly appreciate you for your time. Same to you, sir.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Take care. Have a beautiful day.
You too. All right.